He really in Flick's ranks. Not expected to be back until next season. His contract, ironically, is up. Oh my word! And it's a goal! Has it been cleared off the line? Atletico appeal. Second chance. Lookman with the goal! Breakthrough, Atletico! And it's a disaster initially at the back for Joan Garcia as he misreads a back pass. And that is just about hacked off the goal line. But Julian Alvarez and Ademola Lookman are right on the scene for the home side. And Lookman gets his second goal in the red and white of Atletico Madrid. And that may well end up going down as an own goal from the initial mistake. Brilliant finish from Ademola Lookman. And it's the two Garcias. Eric's back pass to Joan. Just rolls under his studs. That's an absolute horror show for Barcelona's goalkeeper. He doesn't get back in time, neither does Kouassi. And then Alvarez just rolls it back into the path of Lookman, but that's gone over the line. That's an own goal. Either way, 7 minutes gone, and Atletico are in front. Now, we will wait for official confirmation on that, but certainly from my perspective, that did look as if it had already gone over the line from Eric Garcia. And that is indeed the confirmed note from the match adjudicator here. So Eric Garcia, own goal, and Atletico have the edge. Here is Eric Garcia again. Just take a little kick off the turf there as Joan Garcia goes to control it, but he's just too relaxed. And rolls agonisingly under his studs. Kouassi trying to bust the gut and get back there to make the clearance. A long sweeping ball downfield, and that'll be Barcelona's first corner of the game. Now Molina claiming that he did not get any contact on that as it was swept beyond him. And the referee Manzano disagrees. Corner for Barcelona over on that far left hand side. Dani Olmo will just wait for Eric Garcia and Kouassi to come forward. Loaded into the 6-yard box, claimed by Juan Musso. And he'll pump that long for Julian Alvarez to chase. He's got the pace to get away from Koundé. Joan Garcia will hoof that back over the halfway line. Needs to settle himself. The Barcelona goalkeeper has been pretty much ever present this season after making this somewhat controversial move from Espanyol. His ambitions of challenging for major honours, playing in the Champions League and potentially getting into Spain's World Cup squad as well this summer. And that is not a moment that he'll want to see again too quickly. Here's Kouassi back inside the centre circle, pressed by Ademola Lookman. Nice little change of feet inside the centre circle there. Fermin Lopez has gone down, and again it's Marcos Llorente that had a little pull at him. Was sandwiched in between Llorente and Koke. And both of Atletico's midfielders are spoken to by the referee there. Barcelona again want to get on with this quickly. Fermin on the turn, midway inside Atletico's half of the field. De Jong rolls it across to Eric Garcia. Now Balde push forward from left back for Barcelona. 10 minutes gone. And if you are a little late joining us, it's been a thrilling watch so far. An absolute disaster at the back for Barcelona, though. Eric Garcia's pass back to his goalkeeper completely misread and ended up in the back of the net. And that is what is separating the two teams so far. No goal over at the GTEC Community Stadium. Brentford 0, Arsenal 0. We'll endeavour to keep an eye on that one, such a vital game in the Premier League title race. We should of course mention that whatever happens tonight, there is still a second leg to play These two teams will duke it out again on Tuesday the 3rd of March, back up in Barcelona. And if last season's shenanigans are anything to go by, we could be in for a brilliant night this evening and possibly more of the same in a few weeks' time. The first leg was a 4-4 draw in Barcelona last season, and then Ferran Torres' single goal back in Madrid was enough to tip the tie on aggregate, and Barcelona went on to beat Real Madrid in the final. A little bit of revenge might be on the mind of Diego Simeone and his players in that case. Here's Koundé inside the centre circle. Again, Barcelona just buffeted back into their own half. Lookman and Alvarez. And Dani Olmo just tries to be a bit too cute there to flick that through to Ferran Torres. A late challenge from behind there. Marc Calçado reprimanded by the referee. Koke there just showing his experience, just shielding the ball in the middle third. It'll be a free kick for Atletico. Barcelona do have a very good record here as well. They've won the last 4 away from home at the Metropolitano across La Liga and the Copa del Rey. Beat Simeone's charges up in Barcelona in La Liga back in December, as Lookman tries to just screen that ball in behind for Julian Alvarez. Swept up quickly by Joan Garcia. Barcelona now have the chance to storm forward. Lamine Yamal's done really well here. He's got away from Hanko to the byline. Blocked behind for a corner. Excellent recovery that from Marc Pubil. And that is exactly what Lamine Yamal can do to you. Just a simple little drop of the shoulder there, and he's away from David Hanko. Trying to feed it back across the face of goal for Ferran Torres. Pubil, right place, right time. Just gets it behind for Barca's second corner of the game. It's going to be Olmo again from the right hand side. Tries to catch out Juan Musso there. Gathered in though by the Argentinian. Quickly again tries to spring that long ball over the top. It's Lookman now, all on his own down this near left hand side. Needs support. Gets it from Julian Alvarez. Switch back over to the far right hand side. And it's Molina forward from right back. Gathered in by Griezmann. Goal! 2-0 to Atletico Madrid. He's been Atletico's main man in the Copa del Rey this season. And Griezmann makes it 5 in this tournament. And 14 minutes gone. Atletico Madrid 2, Barcelona 0. What a start. And if the first goal came about because of a defensive disaster, this is pure class from the home side. Long ball pumped downfield. Lookman just waits for support. Julian Alvarez over the halfway line. That's the switch. And then Griezmann just peels away here on the edge of the penalty area and rolls it into that bottom corner. What a finish from the Frenchman. And Barcelona are rocking in Madrid. Joan Garcia beaten for the second time tonight. And Griezmann, who's been razor sharp in this competition, steps up once again when his manager needs him. And that's good in every round. Granted, the previous matches, some of them were against lower league opposition. Scored against Atletico Baleares, Deportivo La Coruña, and then in that 5-0 thrashing of Real Betis in the previous round. And this is not what the defending champions, or the holders rather I should say, were expecting from their trip to the capital. It's been a siege from the men in red and white. Fermin Lopez tries to dig himself out of danger there at right back, and he's caught. Play on, says the referee. Koke will take control, and he tries to thread that in behind. Johan Garcia again, just on the edge of his own penalty with the long ball forward. That's an awkward bit of defensive work back there for Molino. Lamine Yamal will pick it up. Squared in field here, right on the edge of Atletico's penalty. Olmo tries to fake to shoot. Backed up though by Frenkie de Jong. Griezmann will chase him across the pitch. That was a tricky moment for Atletico Madrid. Eventually it's the goal scorer Griezmann that gets back in there to deal with it. Here's Koundé. Pau Kubasi just in front of his own penalty. Eric Garcia, who's been heavily involved for the wrong reasons so far. Space to get over the halfway line as Griezmann just tucks in field. I have to say the other semi-final first leg was not nearly as exciting as this one. Real Sociedad with a 1-0 derby win away at Athletic Club last night. That gives them the all-important advantage ahead of a home game in San Sebastian next month. To wait until well into the second half for that one. Dani Olmo appealing for the foul down Barcelona's left-hand side again. Waved away by the officials. Turnover inside the centre circle. Fermin's gone down. And Atletico are running out of warnings here. Koke goes straight over to the referee there, Gil Manzano. Fermin Lopez is certainly coming for some rough treatment tonight. I think that might be Koke's last warning from the referee. Lopez is helped back to his feet, rolled short for Barcelona, just right of centre, midway inside the Barcelona half of the field. Now Koundé under pressure there from Lookman. He'll go for the safe option backwards. Dani Olmo manages just to step away from a couple of challenges and get over the halfway line. Now Lamine, and then Fermin tries to blast that against David Hanko, and he does just that. Wins a corner for Barcelona. He knew there was no one ahead of him there and just played the percentages to win the corner. Again, Garcia and Kubasi will come forward for this one. The referee just sorting out a bit of pushing and shoving in there. Koke and Ferran Torres going toe-to-toe. Olmo to float it in, near post again. It's just a wild swing at goal. It's come back off the crossbar, and Atletico just about managed to hack it away. And with all the attention there on Koke and Torres, is Fermin Lopez, who has been heavily involved, just takes a swing at that. Musso was well beaten, and that's the closest we've come. 20 minutes on the clock for a Barcelona goal. The crossbar still shaking in behind Juan Musso. He's been in red hot form this season, Fermin Lopez. 10 goals in all competitions. He's only one away from matching his total for the entirety of 24-25. And he was mighty, mighty close there. Here's Alejandro Balde just darting in field from left back. Simeone will allow him to run across the field. Koundé. Lamine Yamal back inside his own half. Immediately under pressure there from Ruggeri. Foul by Ruggeri in the opinion of the referee. Based on some of the decisions that Martinez has let go so far tonight, that's one of the slightly softer ones. Fermin on the centre circle, just gets his studs on it momentarily. Olmo takes over. Lookman chasing back though, wins possession from Lamine Yamal. Nice take there from Antoine Griezmann. Lovely little spread over onto that far right-hand side. Simeone's got Molina bombing beyond him. Just straight offside there for the moment. Now Molina. Griezmann will just take his time to sweep left for Lookman. The offside flag is also up against him. Barca will get a chance to reset here. Lookman not quite curving his run there, just to edge back level with Jules Koundé. Atletico certainly taking this mission for the final seriously. It's been a frequent criticism of Diego Simeone that he's not taking this competition, maybe not seriously, but not with as much energy as he's thrown into qualifying for the Champions League via La Liga. Made a perfect start here tonight. Lovely break down this left-hand side. Lookman has Llorente beyond him. And Llorente will float that in. Taken down by Griezmann at the edge of the box. Saved by Joan Garcia. I think he had a bit more time than he realised there. Antoine Griezmann, and he had Simeone outside him. And Garcia just glad to get his gloves on that one. It's been semi-final disappointment in back-to-back seasons for Atletico. Lost out to Athletic Club in 2024. They went on to win it, and that was the case again last season. A break forward here again for Atletico, and it's turned behind for a corner. And the home side are cutting Barcelona to ribbons here. And Jules Koundé has just saved Joan Garcia. That's an outstanding bit of defending from the Frenchman. Lovely ball round the corner on halfway from Antoine Griezmann. That's Simeone on his bike down the right-hand side. Just tries to roll it back for Julian Alvarez. And Koundé in behind his goalkeeper. Just managed to drag it behind for a corner. And save a certain goal for Atletico Madrid. And keep Barcelona in this tie tonight at least. He's absolutely roared at his defenders. Jules Koundé. Julian Alvarez right on the penalty spot there. Just manages to steer it beyond Joan Garcia. And Atletico are going for the throat here. If they can get a third goal, particularly before half-time, we could see Barcelona just simply overpowered. Yet to get a foothold in this. It's most unlike Barcelona so far this season. That Lopez effort off the bar, which came from nothing really, is all we've seen from them in an attacking sense. Here comes Balde. Everybody minus Joan Garcia pushed into Atletico's half of the field. This is a bit of sustained pressure from the holders. There's a foul in there as well. And the referee here has gathered over a couple of Atletico players just for a quick word, because been persistent fouling. It's Marc Casado this time who's clattered by Antoine Griezmann. 7 fouls inside 25 minutes of play. He has kept his cards to himself for the moment, the referee. It's a free kick in a perfect shooting position here. 25 yards from goal, just slightly left of centre. Just to go back to that little stat that we had lined up before the opportunity for Julian Alvarez. Atletico knocked out in the last 2 semi-finals, but the team that they were beaten by did go on to win it. Athletic Club in 24 and then Barcelona last season. So they're aiming for a real narrative shift here. As Dani Olmo stands over this for Barcelona, pummels it straight into the wall. Lamine Yamal can't take it in, and there's a chance for a break here. Giuliano Simeone is caught from behind. And that will be the game's first yellow card. And Marc Casado, who was treading water there as he tried to get back in. There's going to be a yellow card for a member of Diego Simeone's coaching staff as well. It might possibly actually be Jose Maria Jimenez, one of the substitutes, as Simeone Jr. stays down. And he's caught from behind there. It's a really clumsy challenge. And Simeone, ironically, is out playing peacemaker with his coaching staff, who came flying off the bench there. It's a nasty challenge from Casado, just trying to make contact with Simeone to disrupt him breaking away. Doesn't seem to be any lasting damage. He's been checked over here by the Atletico medics and should be okay to continue. It's a scene that's calmed down over on the Atletico bench. The referee taking no nonsense though. Simeone is helped back to his feet. So both sides back up to full strength. 28 minutes gone. Atletico Madrid 2, Barcelona 0 in this vital Copa del Rey semi-final first leg at the Estadio Metropolitano. Bizarre own goal from Eric Garcia, got the ball rolling, and then a really smooth finish from Antoine Griezmann. It's his 12th in all competitions. He's now Atletico's top scorer for the season, the 34-year-old. Level pegging with Alvarez coming into this one. Chasing over on that far side. He certainly doesn't seem 34 when he plays in this type of form, Antoine Griezmann. Relations firmly repaired with the Atletico fans after a couple of years at Barcelona. He's now firmly established as their club record goal scorer as well. Eric Garcia back in possession here, midway inside Barca's half of the field. Squared for Kubasi. Koundé. And Lamine Yamal does really well just to get in front of Ruggeri there. Casado will step in to pick up the loose ball. Now Dani Olmo. Space over on that left-hand side. Balde will bomb beyond him over the halfway line, but pressed backwards. Good tracking there from Naul Molina. Now back with Lamine Yamal. 30 yards from Muso's goal. Just tries to pop that in field for Fermin, but Lookman does really well. He's then crowded out and Barcelona win back possession on halfway. Unsurprisingly, when Barcelona have sprang forward, it's Lamine Yamal who's looked the most threatening down this near right-hand side. So he really had one clear chance to get a run out Ruggeri. Now Atletico are way down their right-hand side. Simeone squares for Griezmann. He just can't get over the ball this time. Barca are appealing for offside there as Simeone beats Balde for pace. Rolled right across the edge of the 18-yard line. And Griezmann takes it on first time. He does have Kubasi on his shoulder. Not an easy opportunity to take, but given the Frenchman's lofty standards for pretty spectacular goals down the years, we have come to see him at least get that on target. Here's Lookman, manages to trick past Koundé, but Fermin Lopez back there on the cover for Barcelona. Nodded down on halfway by Lamine Yamal. Switch over to that far side. Dani Olmo has space in behind Molina. Fed across to Ferran Torres. Llorente on the cover. And then Griezmann does really, really well to get back in position. He's eventually fouled by Fermin Lopez. We're starting to get a real bit of bite into this one now. Barcelona unhappy that Griezmann went in hard on Lamine Yamal. And then Fermin Lopez, who just sprinted forward to put the squeeze on Griezmann. And Atletico will get us restarted. Pinged ball over the halfway line from Ruggeri. Won back though by Koundé. Lamine Yamal chased back into his own half by the Italian. Now Olmo in the centre circle. You've got runners over on that far left hand side. Lopez leaves it for Balde. Again, Barcelona, when they do come forward, they get everybody pushed over the halfway line. Atletico happy to drop off and make life difficult. They've got the 2-goal advantage and they've certainly made life very, very difficult for Barca tonight. Lovely win there from Marc Casado. Lamine Yamal is appealing for the foul. No, says the referee. Atletico have got a 4-on-4 on the halfway line here, but Lookman is unable to gather in. Lamine will push him backwards. Starting to become rather irked by things tonight, Lamine Yamal. Quite a few decisions have not gone in his favour and he's not a happy bunny at this stage. And Simeone will look to try and make something over on that far side. He's on his own. Again, tries to roll it back. Alvarez feeds it on to Lookman. 3-0 Atletico! What a finish! And the defending champions are absolutely battered here tonight so far. 32 minutes on the clock. And Atletico breach Johan Garcia's goal for the 3rd time tonight. And Lookman saw his goal ruled out earlier on. Flagged for a Eric Garcia own goal in the end. And that's brilliant link up. Griezmann on to Simeone. Squares it across for Julian Alvarez. And the vision here from the Argentinian right on the D. He just takes the sting out of that pass to feed it on for Ademola Lookman. Opens up his body, right-footed, back across Johan Garcia. And Atletico are on fire here tonight. Diego Simeone has gone charging off down the touchline, Jose Mourinho style. And Barcelona look absolutely ragged here. They try and find a way back into not just the tie tonight, but the overall 2 legs of this game. 2 goals in 3 games as well for Ademola Lookman. What a start to life in Spanish football he's having. 2 in 2 in the Cup as well. It's a superb stat for him. Of course, he was vital for Atalanta. He's got a hat-trick in there. Europa League final win over Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen. This is the challenge that he wanted. Testing himself in a new environment and really pushing for honours under Diego Simeone. So 35 minutes gone, 10 to the break. Atletico 3, Barcelona 0. Garcia own goal. And then 2 clinical finishes. Antoine Griezmann and Ademola Lookman. Have Barcelona on the rack here. The defending, or the holders of this cup, find themselves in a real mess to even make the final. They need to take a goal or possibly 2 from tonight. At the risk of it being famous last words, it's difficult to see them scoring 4 without reply on home soil next month. Diego Simeone certainly enjoyed that one. celebrating right in front of the Atletico fans, in behind the goal. And all four of his front four were involved in that. Griezmann with that little layoff to release Simeone in that right channel. He's given Balde a tough night. And then Julian Alvarez, who unselfishly just spotted that run of Ademola Lookman. And then buried by the new man down the Atletico left. Here he is now, over the halfway line. Tries to link with Ruggeri. Blocked and out for a throw-in though by Jules Koundé. There is going to be a pre-half-time change here. You really do not see this very often. It's Marc Casado who's being withdrawn by Hansi Flick. And Robert Lewandowski is thrown on here. And that is a sign of just how wrong things have gone from the off for Barcelona. He's being kept in reserve, the veteran Poland international. Barcelona have a league derby at Girona over the weekend. But he is on, Casado is off. And Lopez tries to lift it across on that right hand side, flicked away by Molina. So Lewandowski will go through the middle. Ferran Torres pushed over to the left hand side with Dani Olmo just edged back a little bit. De Jong is probably going to take over the sole pivot now with Fermin and Olmo just in front. Can that trigger a response from Barcelona? Here is Dani Olmo. Takes it on the half turn. Midway inside Atletico's half of the field. Now work to Balde. Frenkie de Jong will take over here. Nice little ball through the lines there. Fermin manages to just wriggle away from Llorente. 20 from Muso's goal. Lovely feet from Lookman there. Can't quite release Koke, who was bombing forward. Simeone will just want to balance this game now before the half-time break. De Jong does well there as he slipped under pressure from Julian Alvarez, who was chasing him back into the host half of the field. That red and white back line just strung out across the edge of Muso's penalty area. Molina, Bobil, Hanko, Ruggeri. They've shackled this man here, Lamine Yamal, and his Barcelona teammates really well so far. But that's a nice ball to the byline. And Ferran Torres tries to get it back across the face. Grabbed in by Juan Musso. Lovely bit of invention there from Lamine Yamal. Just spots the runners. Torres ghosts off the shoulder of David Hanko. Just trying to fire it back into a dangerous area there. Musso alert to the situation. Now Lookman again. Got space once more to raid forward down the left hand side. Ruggeri goes beyond him. Sliding challenge there from Kubasi. Blocks it behind for another corner for Atletico. Simeone orchestrating the crowd here. .5 minutes plus whatever is added on by Jesus Gil Manzano. Atletico's third corner of the game, 6 in total for both sides. Griezmann hoisted into the edge of the 6-yard box. As well dealt with by Barcelona. Ferran Torres lifts the clearance away. And that's a great little take on the halfway line by Fermin Lopez. Needs support in field. It was only Lamine Yamal who got back up with him. And that recovery there from Naul Molina rescues Atletico from a difficult situation. Fermin is full of running tonight. He's caused problems. He's been one of the few Barcelona players that have really carried the fight to Atletico. Frenkie de Jong rolls across the halfway line for Jules Koundé. Tries to just pop that back to de Jong, but he was well screened there by Griezmann. De Jong will come again. Takes the ball from Pau Kubasi. Balde forward from left back. 30 yards from Musso's goal. Worked in field now for de Jong. Kubasi. All Barcelona here as we tick towards the break. Dani Olmo tries to ping a drive there, but it's well blocked. Headed away on the penalty spot as well by Hanko. And Lookman thought about just heading down the line there, but there was a flood of gold shirts chasing after him. Eventually manages to win himself a free kick just in front of his manager here, who is again calling for his players just to take the temperature down a little touch. He is caught there by Lamine Yamal. Lookman. Nothing more than a free kick. Work back to Musso. Again, Atletico there just harrying and chasing, forcing Barca back into their own half. De Jong has to go back to Johan Garcia. And retrieves possession again. Now on to Kubasi over the halfway line to Lamine Yamal. Stuck to this near right-hand touchline. Popped in field for Jules Koundé. Now de Jong. Trying to conduct things for Barcelona. He's allowed space to advance forward here. And that inside left position, but that rigid Atletico system back in position here. Lamine Yamal, a little bit of dancing feet there, tries to get away from Ruggeri, eventually manages to get it to Koundé, and Fermin's in behind here, and that's a big save from Juan Musso. And that's the first real involvement he's had tonight. And it all comes from Lamine Yamal. Little 1-2 with Jules Koundé, back to Koundé. And then Firmino, always a willing runner in that channel, takes it early. Just as he's lifted his head to try and fire it on goal, Musso straight out of the blocks to divert it behind for a corner. Cleared behind for another corner for Barcelona. Taken short this time. Lamine Yamal tries to hoist that in towards the far post. Musso's come a long way, but he will claim that one. Into the final minute of the first half. That's a poor ball in field, picked up by Frenkie de Jong. Marcos Llorente tries to spring Atletico in behind again. Simeone's away down the right hand side. He's got runners inside the box. Can he find Lookman? No, he can't. A teasing ball just fizzed across by Giuliano Simeone. And again, he's tried to go winger to winger. And Lookman stretching every sinew there to try and get something on the end of it. Koundé breathes a sigh of relief as Lookman eventually skids off the pitch because he couldn't quite steer that back across goal. And 4-0, you'd imagine, would end any slim chances of Barcelona dragging themselves back into this one. Kubasi just jogs up to the halfway line. Now Olmo. We'll get a confirmation on time added on in just a second or two. As Koundé tries to go into the feet of Fermin Lopez, shut down by Lookman. And then Lamine Yamal twisting away from Ruggeri. We've got a runner down this channel in Jules Koundé. Can he get across into the box? Yes, he can. Just over the top of Robert Lewandowski, picked up on that far side by Balde. 3 minutes of additional time. Balde tries to get that into a shooting position and takes it on his right foot, not his stronger suit. Straight into the gloves of Juan Musso. Will need something very, very special from Barcelona in this second half if they're to fight their way back into this game. They've certainly got the weaponry available in Fermin and Lamine Yamal. Now starting to threaten. Juan Musso is called into action twice in quick succession. And it is half-time in the Premier League as well. Brentford 0, Arsenal 0. Huge game, of course, in the context of the Premier League title race. Arsenal starting that game just 3 points ahead of Manchester City at the top of the pile in England. They're yet to find a breakthrough against the Bees as it stands. To the final minute of the 3 indicated here in Madrid. Again, another break down that right-hand side, rolled across the face. Lookman will pop it back onto the edge of the box. Julian Alvarez is 4! And Atletico have stormed past Barcelona. What a first-half performance! Griezmann, Lookman, Alvarez. And Simeone is off on the charge again. And once more, it's that break in down the right-hand side. Simeone Jr. leading the way. And then Lookman repays the favour for Julian Alvarez. Just tees it up for him here on the edge of the penalty area. And stroked past Joan Garcia. And that's a fantastic finish. And Barcelona could tonight see their grip on the Copa del Rey loosened irretrievably. You mentioned the quadruple before kick-off tonight. They've conceded a quadruple of goals here in Madrid. And this could be a hammer blow. Not just to the context of their desire to retain this trophy, but across the board, Real Madrid breathing down their neck. Just a single point behind them at the top of La Liga. I think it's fair to say even the most optimistic Atletico Madrid fan did not see this one coming. They've been absolutely sensational. Molina and Simeone linking up again to brilliant effect over on that right flank. Balde with no response. And Lookman and Alvarez trading roles as the Argentinian who fires home. And Jesus Gil Manzano who blows for the break here at the Estadio Metropolitano. And it has been an absolutely dominant night so far for the home side. 4-0 in front at the break. A horror show early on for Eric Garcia as his back pass rolled over the line for an own goal. But it's been simply sensational from Atletico from there on out. Griezmann with his 5th goal in the Copa del Rey this season. Lookman with his 2nd in the tournament. And then Julian Alvarez blasting home beyond Joan Garcia. Puts the gloss on this before the break. And the holders of the Copa del Rey are in turmoil here in the capital. Half-time on Flash Score. It is Atletico Madrid 4, Barcelona Good evening and welcome back to live Copa del Rey coverage here on Flashscore. And it's been one-way traffic so far tonight in the Spanish capital. Atletico Madrid 4, Barcelona 0 as we get restarted for the second period. Diego Simeone's side firmly in control, not just tonight, but potentially over the two legs if they can maintain this level of performance, as it would require something monumental from Barcelona in the second leg. However, don't forget there was a 4-4 draw at this stage between the two teams last season. No changes at the break. Robert Lewandowski introduced just before the interval by Hansi Flick. So Atletico Madrid, as you were. Musso in goal, Molina, Pubil, Hanko and Ruggeri, Simeone, Llorente, Koke and Lookman, Alvarez and Griezmann in attack. As for Barcelona, Johan Garcia in goal, Koundé, Kubasi, Eric Garcia, Balde, De Jong, Lopez and Olmo, with Torres, Lewandowski and Lamine Yamal. So just a single goal in the semi-final first leg last night between Athletic Club and Real Sociedad. 4 in 45 minutes here. And the Copa del Rey holders are on the rack. They've already scooped the Spanish Super Cup this year. They're out in front by a single point at the top of La Liga. But this trophy and the defence of it is hanging by a thread here this evening. We are also back underway in the Premier League as well. Brentford 0, Arsenal 0. As Torres snakes away down the left-hand side, tries to get across, back across the edge of the penalty area. Big save from Juan Musso. And it's Fermin Lopez again, who's thwarted by Musso just before the interval. This is a great run by Torres into the channel. Just feeds it back across that 18-yard line. And Lamine Yamal gets the shout from Fermin, keeps it down. And it is beaten away by Musso. That's the type of start that Hansi Flick wanted. And it will be a corner for Barcelona. Dani Olmo to take, lofted in towards the penalty spot. Koundé gets the contact, comes back out to Fermin. And crashed over the top of the crossbar this time round. This is a far cry from Hansi Flick's recent clashes with Atletico. A 3-1 league win over them at the start of December. They won here in the semi-final second leg last season. Ferran Torres with the goal. And of course won that crucial league game against them in March towards the end of the 24-25 campaign that really put the seal on them, claiming the league title over Real Madrid. But they're finding themselves on the other way round at the moment. They've got themselves just over 40 minutes to give themselves something to work with in that second leg at the start of March. Balde's ball into the penalty area, swept away by Pubil. There's going to be a card here as Alejandro Balde has stayed down from that cross that he tried to feed in. And caught on the shin by Simeone. The referee initially looked as if he was going to let that just roll on and be a throw-in for Barcelona, but card for Simeone, Atletico's first of the night, and I would possibly venture that it won't be their last as they try and battle their way through this. And Simeone is pleading his innocence to the referee, who confirming that he got the word in the ear from VAR. Won't be upgraded though. The booking deemed as sufficient at this stage. Dani Olmo to come and take right in front of the corner flag down Barcelona's left-hand side. Can the Catalans trigger something to get themselves back into this game? They need a goal to light that spark. Olmo fizzes it in, headed away at the near post. Loose touch there on the edge of the penalty area. Frenkie de Jong has picked Julian Alvarez's pocket. Barca will try and make some headway over on that far side. Lamine Yamal running straight into Marcos Llorente. And that is stupidly given away by Atletico Madrid, and a foul right on the corner of the 18-yard box. Marcos Llorente barges over Lamine Yamal, and he was played into that situation by a really ill-advised decision from Matteo Ruggeri, who tried to back heel down the line for Koke. Llorente gets his arms wrapped around Lamine. Only saved realistically by the fact that it was just outside the box. He takes a card. Atletico's second in as many minutes. Lamine will hop back up to his feet and take this for Barcelona. Rolled to the edge of the D. Fermin tries to feed it through. Falls here for Kouassi, and it's gone deflected past Juan Musso. Barcelona back in the game. And the 19-year-old gets his first goal of the season. And if you're looking for signs, his only other Barcelona goal came in that 4-4 last season. He's off the mark for 25-26. 52 minutes gone, and Barcelona have that goal. The initial quick free kick doesn't really yield anything for Barcelona. Fermin doesn't get a clean contact on it, just goes into a body of Atletico Madrid players. It sits up nicely for Kouassi, 8 yards out. Takes it like a striker. Just a little nick off Llorente as he tries to dive in there. But it's Kouassi's goal. And Barcelona have a foothold in the game. And Koke is in discussions with the referee here. He's not happy about something in the aftermath of Kouassi's goal. Possibility that this is being looked at for offside. It certainly doesn't appear that way from the replays that we are being shown here. Ruggeri, who gave away possession in the build-up to that free kick being awarded, is just a yard or so deeper than the rest of the Atletico defenders when Kouassi turns it home. The referee's just called the two captains over here, Koke and Frenkie de Jong. And this is being looked at by VAR. Diego Simeone is offering up a prayer to the heavens over this one. I think we know how he wants it to go. And if it is offside that's being looked at, it certainly doesn't look clear. Very, very close. Pau Kouassi, for me, appears to be being played on by Ruggeri. Big moment here for the referee. He's just explaining to De Jong and Koke how close the call is. And there's possibly two phases of play being looked at here. Robert Lewandowski, who's involved as that Fermin chance comes in, it strikes him and an Atletico player before it eventually pops out for Kouassi. So it will be Pablo González Fuertes who makes this decision. Lewandowski potentially he was offside there, but what is the level of his involvement here? It just takes a couple of ricochets, including off Lewandowski before it finds its way to Kubasi. I think it's Hanko that gets the touch for Atletico. And this is taking its time. It's been 3 minutes since it was originally confirmed that this was being looked at by the video assistant. 55 gone. We are still no clearer over whether or not this goal will stand for Pau Kubasi. And that is the sticking point, the Lewandowski involvement as it's struck here by Fermin. It does look onside as the ball initially comes in. And that, for me, appears that the goal will be given, but the referee is making everybody wait here. Kubasi himself is certainly onside. Lewandowski, as it's steered in by Fermin, is onside. There's just another phase of play where it pops off his heel to Kubasi. And that's what's being looked at. Goal at Brentford. Noni Madueke with the breakthrough for Arsenal. And the first touch comes off an Atletico player before it hits Lewandowski. So we're all at a bit of a loss here to explain why it is taking so long. De Jong and Koke have remained in consultation with the referee here. This is absurd. 4.5 minutes we've waited for confirmation. Diego Simeone rattled over on the sideline. He's called back a few of his substitutes. He wants to make a change. The referee, yeah, has called both captains over here. De Jong and Koke. And are we going to get a confirmed decision? Sometimes you do have sympathy for the match referees here. And if it is involving Lewandowski, it's so tight. It could just be his heel that is offside. But because it comes off an Atletico player, that's what was being assessed. And the goal, after 5 minutes of checks, has been ruled out. My word. The Barcelona players surround the referee, but the goal has been overturned. Pau Kubasi's first of the season has been chalked off here in Madrid, and it remains Atletico Madrid 4, Barcelona 0. That is astonishing. Robert Lewandowski's back heel, as Fermin Lopez takes the shot, is offside. He just turns his body to arguably get out of the way of the ball to see if Fermin's shot was going to fly past Juan Musso. And that is what has dragged him into an active position. And it's just a ricochet that comes off him and eventually falls for Kubasi. And we are talking a matter of inches here. Kubasi is okay. That is an incredible decision by the officials. And Barcelona lose their fingertip grip of dragging themselves back into this game. So we are now on the hour mark. There'll be a significant amount of time added on. You would expect that was at least 5 to 5.5 minutes to make that decision. And that will, of course, be a huge matter for debate at full time. Diego Simeone celebrated it as much as he celebrated the 4 goals that his team scored in the first half. Half an hour to go, and it remains Atletico 4, Barcelona 0. Here is Lewandowski dropping deep, midway inside Atletico's half of the field. Fermin's pass to Koundé was just a bit undercooked there, and he's been caught by Lookman. So it'll be a free kick for Barcelona. Over on that right hand side, midway inside the Atletico half. Quickly taken by Lamine to De Jong. And then as Fermin tries to dart away down that channel, it's just shouldered, and it's seen behind for a goal kick for the home team. And Hansi Flick, who's had a miserable night in Madrid so far, is absolutely ashen-faced by that decision. And when it's not your night, it's not your night. And it certainly has not been Barcelona's so far, as they try and wrestle themselves back into this tie and keep a fingertip on the Copa del Rey trophy. Chance for Atletico to break away down the left-hand side. It's taken on early by Ruggeri and forces Joan Garcia eventually just to get a hand on that and tip it over the crossbar. He had no support really there, and Eric Garcia bearing down on him. Joan Garcia not taking any chances though. Sticks out a hand and turns that behind for a corner in front of the pumped up Atletico Madrid fans. They are sensing a huge night here. As we mentioned in the first half, you have to go all the way back to 2013 for the last time they reached the final. And they must be feeling that they are on course this time round. Athletic Club or Real Sociedad will be their opponents. Unless we see something pretty historic here from Barcelona, akin to the 4 goals that they managed against Atletico last season, but they were never 4 down at any stage. They were 2 down after just 5 minutes. Alvarez and Griezmann, Pedro and Kubasi pulling it back, and then Inigo Martinez and Robert Lewandowski were seemingly putting Flick's team on course for victory before 2 goals in the final 5 minutes from Llorente and Alexander Soloth. I don't think we'll see 8 goals tonight. Simeone has made his decisions. A couple of changes incoming for Atletico. We'll get some news on that in just a moment. He's gone back out to screaming instructions at Antoine Griezmann for the moment, so we'll just have to hit pause on those changes. Lewandowski is not where he wants to be, back inside his own half, tries to link with Lamine Yamal. He gives it away. Now Lookman tricks past Lamine Yamal. Nice little change of feet there from Lookman, tries to go for the 1-2. Koundé will nod it back to his goalkeeper though. Lamine tries to trivela ball to release Fermin. It's cut out by the recovering Llorente. And Musso just about manages to get that away with Ferran Torres bearing down on him. Here is Simeone. Space to get over the halfway line down the right hand side. Needs support. We'll go back here for Molina. Koke. This is exactly what Atletico would want after a difficult start to the second period. Get some control. Just try and take that fizz out of Barcelona. Ball into the channel here for Ferran Torres to chase down the left hand side for Barcelona. Really good covering though from Marc Pubil. Behind for a goal kick for the home side. Flick has also sent his substitutes out to warm up. If he does choose to go for it a little more in the final stages to possibly try and just get Barcelona close in terms of the aggregate score, he does have options. Bardaggi, probably the most likely to come on, the highly rated Joffrey Torrentes as well. Everything is going Atletico's way. A decision to disallow Kubasi's goal will be debated tonight and on into next week. Very, very close goal. And I will leave fans to their own opinions on it. The one unifying theme of it all, of course, is the frustration over how long it takes VAR to make those type of decisions. As Frenkie de Jong takes this on left-footed inside the centre circle, spread across for Balde, who's pushed very, very high up in the second half from left-back. Trying to squeeze Simeone back in front of Molina. And then Lamine Yamal have been skied down there by Ruggeri. Over on the far side, just tries a little give and go around the Italian. And swept out by Atletico's number 3. It will be a free kick, but no card for Matteo Ruggeri. Quickly taken between Lamine and Olmo. Floated in by de Jong. Koundé is well shackled in there by Pubil. Whatever changes Diego Simeone was possibly considering, he's apparently changed his mind. Looks as if Thiago Almada and Nico Gonzalez were two of the players that had been called back for a quick chat with the boss. And now he will give the signal across. He just asked them to sit down for a moment. A little bit of theatre from Diego Simeone. So a double change, and it's not those two players. They have stayed sitting down. Maybe we'll see them a little bit later on. It's Atletico's front two that are taken off here, and two of their goal scorers on the night, Julian Alvarez and Antoine Griezmann, replaced by Alex Baena and Alexander Sørloth. And that will be a switch of formation as well. Sørloth will go up top on his own. Baena into the middle with Llorente and Koke. Simeone and Lookman either side of the Norway international. There's a real look of confusion on the face of Thiago Almada. He certainly thought he was coming on. All part of the spectacle of a Diego Simeone touchline show. Lamine Yamal. 4 Atletico players around him as he tries to wriggle over the halfway line. Popped in field for Frenkie de Jong. Eric Garcia bombing forward will take the 1-2 from the Dutchman. Koke just gets across there and forces him to go back to Balde inside Barcelona's half of the field. It's Ferran Torres. That's a loose touch on halfway, given away to Koke. Sørloth will battle away here with Olmo. There's a hint that he was offside there, and he can't quite gather in possession effectively. That allows de Jong to release Fermin. Now Lamine Yamal building up to the corner of that Atletico penalty area. Balde tries to check in away from Simeone. Now Eric Garcia. Lamine Yamal wants to get 1v1 against Ruggeri again. Manages to just tickle that through for Frenkie de Jong. Everybody for Atletico back right on the edge of their own penalty, and eventually it's just smashed away as we tick into the final 20 minutes. And there has been another goal at Brentford. And the Bees are level at home to the league leaders. Keane Lewis Potter, with 72 minutes gone in northwest London, has tied it up for Keith Andrews. Could be a massive goal in the context of the Premier League title race and Brentford's push for Europe as well. And Lamine Yamal back on his feet after another heavy challenge there from Ruggeri. Llorente back scrapping away on the edge of the D. Needs support. Koke has hands on the back there from Fermin Lopez. Play on, says the referee. Ferran Torres tries to get a shot away, blocked. Will be picked up on the touchline by Lamine Yamal. Ruggeri needs support. Koundé will go beyond him to the byline. Can he get it across? Yes, he can. And it's smashed away again by Atletico. All hands to the pump back there. It was Molina, I think, who dug that one out. Simeone's team more than happy to sit on this and take what they've got. It was all out attack in the first half. This is all about managing the game. I see it as well there over on that far side as Sorloth tried to break over halfway. Gets the challenge in, concedes a throw-in. That will give Atletico a chance just to build forward themselves. The Barca players becoming increasingly frustrated with how long some of these restarts are taking. And then Fermin Lopez is eventually penalised for a foul. Koke is down. A long free kick pinged forward for Simeone to chase. Won back by Balde. Now he's got a bit of room to charge forward on the overlap. Baena will track him across from central midfield though. De Jong calling for it inside the centre circle. Gets it and immediately out to Lamine Yamal. Ruggeri is quick to get across. Lookman will double up. De Jong for Eric Garcia. Now Balde. And again, sloppy from Barcelona. Just not concentrating there, the Spain international. And the zipped ball from De Jong just goes straight under his studs. And out for a throw-in. And we are now, after a bit of a delay, going to see the entrance of Thiago Almada, as Ademola Lookman is warmly applauded off by the Atletico fans, and a big high five from Diego Simeone. Back-to-back Copa del Rey goals for former Everton man. There's Molina that gets us back underway from the throw-in. Immediately the turnover is won by Barcelona though. Lamine Yamal tries to just float that into the penalty area for Fermin or Lewandowski. Bill will get it back to his goalkeeper. Kouassi takes control of that clearance from Juan Musso. And Frenkie de Jong is caught in possession by Koke. Now Sorloth, 30 yards from Barcelona goal. And Atletico are appealing for a handball here as Giuliano Simeone tried to just feed that back into Sorloth. It does strike a hand here, but the question being asked by both sets of players, was it inside the penalty area? It's Eric Garcia that it catches. There's a great deal that he can do about that. It certainly does strike him on the forearm as Simeone just tries to steer that beyond him for his number 9 charging into the box. So it will be a free kick, 20 yards out, just right of the D. The final 15 minutes, alongside what I would anticipate will be quite a lot of added time. 10 minutes to go in the Premier League. Brentford 1, Arsenal 1. If it stays like that, Arsenal will only be 4 points above Manchester City with 26 games played so far. It's Baena who will stand over this one for Atletico. It's a 5-man wall set up here by Joan Garcia. And if the wall does its job, Baena's effort straight into the midriff of Robert Lewandowski, who will try and feed it back in though. Easily swept up though by Joan Garcia. Koundé. Lamine Yamal tries to go first time over the halfway line, cuts out and fed up towards Alexander Sorloth. Now Almada. It's Llorente who's been pushed out onto that left-hand side after Lookman was withdrawn. Almada and Koke through the middle. Simeone sets Molina away on the overlap. Tries to feed a cross in from the right-hand side. It's turned behind for a goal kick. Final touch coming off Thiago Almada. No, Baena rather, beg your pardon. We'll have a double change for Barcelona here. It's a defensive alteration. João Cancelo on for Alejandro Balde. And Ronald Araujo. We'll get confirmation on that in just a second. He's on for Kubasi. So 2 changes in the Barca backline. Like for like. Cancelo at left back and Araujo here alongside Eric Garcia. Dani Olmo fizzes it into the feet of Cancelo, who's already marched forward from left back to Olmo. Just pings that one wide from 25 yards. More frustration on the sidelines for his manager. Possibly already looking ahead to the second leg and thinking, how on earth do I keep myself in this competition and try and keep this trophy in the cabinet at the Nou Camp. Almada back inside his own half, does really well there just to float it over to Molina, forward from right back. Simeone had the run in front of him of Baena, but opts for safety infield. Molina will go again. He's tracked down that right hand side. That's a really good challenge from Eric Garcia. The rest of the Barcelona players not quite on the same wavelength. Koke will try and get one across the face, cleared away by Araujo. And that is a cynical foul there as Frenkie de Jong tries to get away. And it's Alex Baena who was frustrated that he didn't get the pass and takes that out on Frenkie de Jong. Olmo, who's just dropped a bit more into a deeper role in the last 5 or 10 minutes to try and see if he can pull a few strings and give Barcelona something, anything to hang on to for that second leg in March. It's going to be placed on the back burner, of course. We've got the derby with Girona on Monday evening. Back-to-back home league games. They take on Levante and Villarreal. The title race will be taking top priority in the interim. The referee gets in the way of Thiago Almada, trying to pass out from his own half there. He allows that one to roll in favour of Barcelona. Lamine Yamal trying to trick his way in from the right-hand side. Simeone will allow that deflected cross just to bounce through for Musso. Night where it just hasn't quite clicked for Barcelona and Spain's teenage sensation. He's certainly caused a headache or two for Ruggeri. Hasn't really been able to make a telling impact though. It's such a well-drilled unit strung out on the edge of Musso's box, even though it's not Simeone's first choice back line, of course. He's regularly rotated between La Liga and the Copa del Rey. Reinildo and Jimenez both on the bench tonight. They won't be needed either. Into the final 10 minutes of this Copa del Rey semi-final first leg. Atletico 4, Barcelona 0. All 4 goals in the first half. If you just joined us at the break and are wondering what on earth has happened, a real horror show of an own goal from Eric Garcia gave Atletico a bit of a lift right at the beginning. But it's their fearsome foursome that took Barcelona to pieces from there on out. Antoine Griezmann with his 5th Copa goal of the season, before Julian Alvarez teed up Ademola Lookman, and then Lookman for Alvarez just before the break, which has given Diego Simeone, I think it's fair to say, 1 foot in his first Copa del Rey final since 2013. Atletico now, rare break over the halfway line. Baena does well to take that in his stride on the centre circle, tries to go first time in behind, and it's deflected off Jules Koundé. And Joan Garcia can't get across in time, and that will be a corner for Atletico. Simeone beats the ground in front of him, celebrating every minute here as Atletico drag themselves forward. It'll be Athletic Club or Real Sociedad as the final opponents for either of these sides. Just a single goal separating them. Beñat Torrientes with the winner for La Real in Bilbao yesterday. There's still plenty to go in that second round game in San Sebastian, so that is the second leg, certainly worth watching. I would implore you to watch the second leg of this, but whether or not Barcelona will have anything to fight for, well, that is not too clear at the moment. It is João Cancelo, just tucked in centrally on the edge of the centre circle in Barca's half of the field, and that's a poor ball backwards and a foul. There's another decision here for the referee as Eric Garcia clumsily goes skything in. Atletico players have gone straight over to the referee. They're claiming that could be a red. And Simeone not happy either. And it's Alex Baena who gets there before Garcia, just toes it away from him. Garcia, and he studs across the shins of the former Villarreal man. The referee claiming that there was cover in behind Eric Garcia, and that's what has saved him from being sent off. I think at this stage of the game, Atletico Madrid are not going to argue too much with that decision. They're not happy, but I think they're happy to leave the referee on that one. And the story of Barcelona's night, lacking sharpness and then just allowing that frustration to creep in and make poor decisions. It's a bad pass on halfway initially from Ferran Torres that puts Garcia in a difficult spot. And Araujo is actually beyond Baena at the point of contact. Whether or not he was able to get across and win the ball back, that remains to be seen. And the referee, after all the debate between both sets of players, is now coming over to the sideline, and it has confirmed the VAR wanted to take a look on the pitch side monitor. And could Barcelona's night go from bad to worse here? There's certainly a case for this being a red card. It's a poor challenge. He stumbles as he tries to take the ball, and then Baena is well away. Deliberately blocks him off and catches him right on the front of the leg. And that will be a red card for Eric Garcia, who He waves to Atletico Madrid fans as he goes straight down the tunnel. Hansi Flick is taking a look at the iPad on the sideline here. Don't think he can have a great amount of argument with that, Eric Garcia. He's late, and it's a sore one. The case for Araujo being able to get back in and clear away is not clear. And Barcelona 4 goals down, and now a man down as Dani Olmo goes in late there. And things are starting to spill over. It's Giuliano Simeone who's been taken out in front of his manager and father. And we've got members of the Atletico coaching staff on the field here now, and the referee has a real mess to sort out. The cards are flying here for players and staff. There's a lot to unpick here as we finally managed to get some of the Atletico coaches off the pitch and allow the referee to do his job. It's a poor challenge from Dani Olmo, and he's taken a card for it. But then Molino took exception to Olmo and Fermin Lopez. It's actually Koke who steps in to just drag Dani Olmo away. There's a couple of cards there for Simeone's coaching staff. And for Marc Boubil, his role in antagonising things. And Fermin Lopez will be given the final few minutes to cool down as Hansi Flick throws on Gerard Martin. We're into added time at the GTEC Community Stadium as well. Brentford 1, Arsenal 1. 2 minutes of the 5 played. Madueke's goal cancelled out by Keane Lewis Potter. Plenty of Manchester City fans keeping an eye on that one. The final couple of minutes in northwest London. The free kick is arrowed into the box by Koke. Cleared away by Lamine Yamal. Robert Lewandowski there just can't quite steal in behind. Pubil slipped and offered him the chance to do so. Musso's clearance is taken in by Koke, who darted back to right back. He can't quite get a clean pass off to Almada. Frenkie de Jong. Then Ferran tries the ball in from the left hand side, blocked away by Sorloth. Does really well here just to work it up to the halfway line and tries to charge away in the channel. Doesn't have the pace though to get away from Araujo. And Simeone here is furious on the sideline. He wants to make a change. He's got Robin Lenormand ready for action. Wants to throw him in and safeguard that clean sheet into the final 90 seconds of the 90. Wonderful take there by Lamine Yamal. Just ghosted away from Ruggeri. It was an ambitious cross though. Juan Musso will dive and drop on that one. Now Sorloth switching over to the left hand side, tries to stretch his legs and force Araujo back to the edge of his own penalty area. Hosts here just looking to eat the clock down. They know how dangerous Barcelona are at home. Even if they were to nick a goal here, that would keep them alive in the tie. It's a ball across the face, and Koundé denies Sorloth. And the man who scored at the death in that 4-4 last season is a big toe away here from making it 5-0. Molina again, who's flown forward time after time from right back. And Koundé just tangles with Sorloth there on the edge of the 6-yard box. The final touch comes off Atletico's number 9, so it'll be a goal kick for Barcelona. And a fourth change here by Simeone. Captain Koke revving up the crowd as he goes off for Robin Lenormand. And we will have 10 minutes of additional time. That huge delay for the Pau Kubasi goal, added with a few other bouts of pushing and shoving, has given Barcelona 10 minutes to maybe try and drag themselves into this game and give them just the tiniest of chances at turning it around in Catalonia in a few weeks' time. But Atletico will fight and fight to the death. They want to take a 4-goal lead. Llorente does really well there against Lamine Yamal, just sprinted across the lender hand as he threatened to break away from Thiago Almada. And then Almada himself, who bursts away, tries to return the favour for Llorente. There's an Atletico player down here inside Barcelona's half of the field. It's Simeone who's taken a whack to the side of the face. And Barcelona are not hanging around here. De Jong over the halfway line. Dani Olmo. Now Cancelo. Gets Molino backing off to the byline. Can't quite trick his way by him. The final touch does come off Marc Pubil. And it will be a Barcelona corner. 2 of the additional 10 played. Plenty for Atletico still to do in this game. Gerard Martinez up from the back alongside Araujo. Olmo from the left hand side, floated towards the back post and headed just wide. And that was a chance. Ferran Torres, who just slipped his marker. It might have been that Ferran and Koundé get in each other's way here. As Koundé goes down, just as Ferran makes contact with that, Barcelona are asking the question of the referee, was Jules Koundé fouled? And that is quickly a no from Martinez. And just a quick confirmation, Fermin Lopez was cautioned in that row after Simeone was fouled. So the cards certainly have racked up this evening. The red for Eric Garcia, Pubil, Llorente, Simeone, Fermin, Casado and Olmo, 3 each with a caution. Garcia, of course, will be suspended now for the second leg. Juan Garcia back in possession, just bowls that out to the feet of Araujo. The full-time whistle has blown at the G-Tech Community Stadium. And Brentford have held Arsenal to a 1-1 draw in the Premier League. Madueke and Keane Lewis Potter with the goals. Another big result for Keith Andrews and his team. And most importantly, as I mentioned just a moment ago, within the Premier League title race, 26 games played. Man City 53 points, Arsenal 57. Ahead of the FA Cup break this weekend. Title race could well be back on. Here's Dani Olmo, midway inside Atletico's half of the field, just shifts it to the right hand side for for Frenkie de Jong. Koundé allows Lamine Yamal to take over. Everybody back in the defensive third for Atletico. Sorloth leading from the front here as Ferran tries to go to João Cancelo. Olmo. Frenkie de Jong will float that one into the box. And Musso gets there before Ferran Torres. We've reached the halfway point of the 10 minutes that were initially added on. Atletico Madrid sticking diligently to the task at hand. Llorente spreads that over to the far left hand side. And then goes back for Hanko. Molino can't quite gather in that crossfield ball, but eventually manages just to get in front of De Jong. Now Baena. Ruggeri over the halfway line from left back. He's got Armada in front of him. Koundé trying to track back and get in position there. Olmo takes it off his toe. Just outside the Barca penalty. Lamine Yamal too wily for Llorente. He's doubled up on there eventually. Baena lending a hand for Llorente. He's frustrated there. Lamine Yamal is just chasing after 2 or 3 Atletico players as they scrap and fight themselves forward. Atletico don't have as much of a lengthy turnaround as Barcelona. Barca not in action until Monday night away at Girona. Diego Simeone's side face a Madrid derby on Sunday afternoon. They're away at Rayo Vallecano. 7 minutes of additional time played. Atletico Madrid have won themselves a throw-in here. Simeone down this right channel in front of the corner flag, and he'll head for the corner just to keep the motor running, keep the clock ticking over. Good tracking though from a combination of Ferran Torres, and De Jong will eventually force him back to Molina. Hanko happy to go back to Juan Musso. The expected second half charge from Barcelona just hasn't happened. The huge controversy over that Kubasi goal being ruled out, possibly just taking the edge off their intent. If that goes in, could be talking about a very different second half. Lewandowski, Torres not really able to make an impact on the game. Lamine Yamal has shown flashes of his undoubted brilliance. Here he is again. Ruggeri does really well this time to go over and slam the door in his face, but the referee sees different, very different. That's actually a card for Matteo Ruggeri. Now, in my opinion, based on some of the rough treatment that he's handed out to Lamine Yamal tonight, that's not the worst. Maybe just an accumulation of regular fouls on Barcelona's number 10. The final 2 minutes of the 10 added on. Still no way through for Barcelona. Other than Musso's reaction save on Fermin Lopez and then Ferran Torres heading wide from a corner, hasn't been a huge amount of chances generated by Hansi Flick's team in this second half, despite having to go for it. They've got themselves a corner now over on that far right hand side. Final minute of added time. Everybody but Joan Garcia forward. Olmo to the near post, headed away by Sorloth. De Jong will nod it back out to Dani Olmo. Final few seconds. Olmo tosses it back in. Araujo heads down. Lewandowski is cleared away in front of him, but he will go up for the second ball. It's a header that spins over the top of Musso's crossbar. It's been that kind of night for him and that kind of night for Barcelona. Diego Simeone still powering his team on, as if they were the ones fighting for a result here in the final few seconds. The home fans absolutely buoyant here around the stands at the Estadio Metropolitano. As we await the referee and the final whistle. Lamine Yamal does well just to wriggle away from Llorente. Possible Final chance here for Barcelona. Cancelo cutting in from the left-hand side. Now Olmo, 20 yards out, floats it in. Headed away by Hanko. Just gets there in front of Jules Koundé. And that is the final whistle on a dominant Copa del Rey night for Diego Simeone. 4 first-half goals as